Right, so this just dropped an hour ago, and there's going to be some rebalances coming into effect for tomorrow's release. And this is going to be for historic folks, and maybe some timeless folks as well. And I'm only going to go over cards that are going to be relevant for historic and timeless. So we're just going to cut to the chase and going to be skipping over a lot of these cards that got balanced due to alchemy. So Cori-Steel Cutter loses +1/+1 and trample. So it does still have prowess, which means that I think the Cori-Steel Cutter is still going to be pretty decent. This change was actually made just for alchemy, but it is affecting historic a little bit. So this one is pretty huge. Currently the Cori-Steel Cutter is being seen play in something like a wizard, like some wizard decks play it. I've seen some like affinity decks trying to play Cori-Steel Cutter as well. I've also seen like Boros Energy in Historic playing Cori-Steel Cutter, right? And obviously this is not going to affect Timeless because this is a paper card. If the paper card gets rebalanced, it's not going to affect Timeless at all. This is only going to affect Historic. But I wouldn't say like Cori-Steel Cutter is unplayable by any means because technically you're still generating a 1/1 prowess token. If you don't have another card to play that turn, even though the token gains haste, you're not going to be able to attack with that card because it's just going to be a 1/1. So this is going to be a little bit of a nerf there. Obviously, Awestruck Signet not played in Historic, so we're not going to talk about that. Same with the Recruiter Instructor. Both of these are nerfs for Alchemy. House Meld, this is also not for Historic, so I'm not going to talk about that. So now we move on to Sorin. Sorin has been plaguing Historic for quite a long time now. Sorin is not legal in Alchemy, so this nerf is only for Historic. Again, this is a paper card, so it's not going to affect Timeless, but this -3 ability restricts only to vampire targets now with mana value 6 or less. So this is a huge nerf, which means that Sorin and Elenda combo does not work anymore. This means that one of the tier 1 decks in Historic format has just lost their limb. Any Sorin decks just don't exist anymore, which means that all of the mid-range decks that wasn't playable before could potentially come out of the woodworks and make some splash in the Historic ladder. This is a pretty huge change because there's a lot of decks that can deal with Eldrazi, quote unquote, but they can't deal with Eldrazi plus the Sorin decks, which was kind of the problem before. I think this is a very good change. Obviously in Timeless, you're still going to be seeing Sorin and Elenda. A very good change. And now we move on to the spicy one, Ribald Shanty. So Ribald Shanty got nerfed because it was just doing too much in Alchemy format. But now that Ribald Shanty is not legal in Alchemy format, they have gone ahead and reverted this nerf so that now it only costs 1 red, which is a very, very good news because now not only can you still play this in Historic, but even in Timeless, this was actually a decent deck before. I wouldn't say like anything too crazy, but it was still fun to play. So I think this is a very good news. I was actually under the impression that the other course card, the Hymn, was also nerfed as well, but apparently it wasn't. So you can still play Ribald Shanty alongside the Hymn to the Aegis. So this is definitely a very, very welcome change. So that's a quick update to what is going to happen tomorrow. Overall, I think the Sorin change is very good for Historic because, like I said, a lot of decks can try to beat either the Sorin or the Eldrazi, but they can't really beat both of them. And I also think that playing against Sorin is a little bit more annoying than Eldrazi when it comes to like trying to hate them out post sideboard because things like Containment Priest doesn't even work sometimes because the Containment Priest can stop Sorin, the vampire, from coming out from the Sorin, but it doesn't actually stop the Dollmaker into the Baelmerk. So there wasn't really a clean answer to the Sorin, and it was definitely a very annoying matchup to sideboard and play against. So I kind of like that. The Cori-Steel Cutter change was a little bit unfortunate because this is only for alchemy purposes, but it's just like the Historic just got like crossfired, you know? And lastly, the thing I want to talk about is the Eldrazi's. The Eldrazi's didn't even get touched at all. I kind of have a feeling that the people over at the Arena team just love Eldrazi's. So it's a little bit unfortunate that the Eldrazi's are still, running amok. But like I said, it'll be easier to hate on the Eldrazi now that the Sorin deck is basically gone from the format. But besides that, this actually might bring me back to historic a little bit. So definitely good changes. It's just that like a lot of things are happening in Timeless at the moment, and there's also the anthologies coming out, and there's just so many decks you can try at the moment in Timeless. So yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to play historic, but the Sorin change and the Ribald Shanty change are definitely pretty exciting. So yeah, that is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all next one. Bye bye.